All right, so before we continue, I want to let you know those videos we made them just to share with you the knowledge or what we learned from installing and removing parts. So I want you to subscribe to the channel right now. Click on the bell notification to get all the videos on time and leave your question. We're going to respond to them just after this video. So what are we going to work on today? I don't know. Let's see what we're going to do. All right, again and again. So today we're going to work on a 2009 Dodge Charger. The customer took the car to the shop and then called the shop and then asked us to replace the engine, and then we already concluded with the price to replace the engine. So I got my partner with me. White, so do you think we just go ahead and replace the engine, or we're gonna diagnose the car first before we replace the engine?
Well, we're gonna start by diagnosing the car because there could be other things wrong with it than just the engine being wrong. You know, it could be a broken timing chain, or it could be, you know, a problem laying elsewhere. So we're gonna check it out first.
All right, so as we said, we're gonna check the car first just before we replace the engine, because sometimes customers don't know nothing about their car. They can tell you they need an engine and they don't really need an engine. So to diagnose the car, what we're gonna do first, we're gonna try to crank it, so to see what we get. All right. All right, hey, go again. Stop right there. All right, so we're trying to crank the car. As you can realize, the engine look like it's like locked up, but we're not gonna say that. Sometimes it might not be the engine, or it might be something else. And then what you think we should do to see if we are right or wrong?
To start out with, I think we should pull the serpentine belt off and
turn the pulleys to see if there is any pulley that's locked.
And when we pull the serpentine belt off, we're gonna turn the crank, and we can then check if there is compression on every cylinder and if there's, you know, problems elsewhere, or if it could be in the serpentine belt.
All right, so as we say, then the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the serpentine belt, because most of the time you might have a clogged like pulley. It might be a clogged alternator, it might be a clogged power steering pump, it might be a clogged idle pulley, it might be a clogged like AC compressor. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the serpentine belt first, and then after that we're gonna crank the car to see if we got any difference before we continue our diagnosis. All right, let's go. So we're gonna remove the belt. To remove the belt, we're gonna use a 3/8 ratchet, right?
Yep.
All right. You're gonna go that way. Yep. All right. I already got one side out. All right. Job. Right. We almost got the serpentine belt out. We gotta flip it behind the tensioner. All right. Here we go. So now we got the serpentine belt out, so as you can realize. So now we're gonna try to crank the car to see what we get. Here we go. Here we go. All right, shut it off. So again and again, it is what it is. As I said, guys, and then now what should we do? Call the customer and tell him that we can fix the engine, or his engine doesn't have nothing, or replace the engine.
Well, the right thing to do would be to tell him that his engine's not bad and that the problem's elsewhere. It could be in the alternator, the AC compressor, something's holding up that serpentine belt, not allowing it to turn over.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna turn all the pulleys by hands, just to make sure that which one it's locked up.
Well, the power steering pump turns easy. So does the AC compressor. The idle or pulley's good. The alternator's froze.
Oh shit! It is. The alternator is. We can't even turn it. So now we found a problem, right?
Yep.
So now we're gonna talk to the customer, and then we're gonna have to replace the alternator, and then tell the customer that the engine gonna want back again. So what we're gonna do, guys, so we're gonna take a pause, we're gonna talk to the customer, and we'll come back and then see what we're gonna do on the car. All right. All right, guys, we finished talking to the customer. We conclude that we're gonna replace the alternator, and we're gonna replace the alternator. So to replace the alternator, the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the trunk of the car. We're gonna remove the positive battery terminal, And after that, we're gonna come to the front and see if we can replace the alternator. All right, so let's go to the trunk. Yep, the batteries on the trunk. As you can realize, the customer got a lot of stuff on the trunk that's not allowed us to get access to the battery. But anyway, we're gonna see what we can do and see if we can take the positive out of our way, and then like that we're gonna keep working.
It's off.
All right, so we take it off. As you can realize, we take the positive off. Now we're gonna go back to the front. All right, so what you're gonna do before you start removing the alternator?
Well, you got to get the stuff out of the way to get at the bolts.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the computer box here.
Yeah.
And there's a little clip right here, here, and here. And you're going to go ahead and pull those clips, and it'll just slide right up.
All right.
So now that we can get that out of our way.
Yep, now we got a better view. All right.
All right, we're back here. Now I got this moved out of the way. There's a 15 millimeter bolt on the back of the bracket where it bolts into the head for the alternator, the top one. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull that 15 bolt out with a ratchet, small extension like this.
All right, so now we already take the bolts for the bracket off. And then I think now what we're gonna do, we got two bolts. That's bolting the alternator to the frame or to the motor. It's 215 volts millimeter. So got one right here and one on the bottom. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna set up the lift. We're gonna lift up the car just to get like access to those two bolts. All right, let's go. Right, so again the car now is up. So what we gotta do, we gotta take those two bolts off, and then the one that's right there, as you can realize, so to get the alternator out. All right, so guys, let's go to work. So we're gonna remove those two bolts, those three bolts, the one up there and the two bottom one, to take the alternator out. All right, let's go to work. Alright, so we already take those two bolts off. We got one on the top, that's the main one, so we're gonna try to take it off now. Alright, so as I was saying that the top bolt is the main thing, so we have to take the bracket out, so to get the space, more space to get to this bolt right here. It was really tight, okay? So let's see if we can take it all the way out.
Alright, we got the new alternator. Now make sure your plug is going to be the same, and make sure your stud is the same size and stuff. Make sure you got the right alternator and the bolts are the same. But yep, this is the right alternator. Now we're going to go ahead and get it in. It goes in from the bottom.